Hustle is Adam Sandler's latest movie in his Netflix deal, and wow, from like beginning to end, this movie is just fantastic. This is Adam Sandler at his absolute finest. This might be the best Adam Sandler movie, period. Like, even up against his classic comedies, not his current comedies, those are really bad, but his classic comedies, and even Uncut Gems, which was very good. I think this surpasses them all tenfold. So the South Park actually addressed the streaming wars, Paramount Plus and Netflix and HBO Max and all fucking Disney Plus, all these streaming services. There's so many streaming services that at this point, if you have them all, you're paying more than you would if you had cable. How did South Park go about it? Well, they did an actual stream, a water stream. And, people had to subscribe to it to get extra water. And at one point, Butters goes on a little rant how there's too many streaming services. And it makes you wonder what Parker and Stone actually feel about the streaming services. It's very rare that South Park gets this specific on a topic. Like, a lot of the time in an episode, will be about something specific, but there'll be a lot of elements of other things going on. Here, they were very, very specific. And it makes me wonder, because originally they announced the HBO Max deal, that HBO Max was going to get all the episodes of South Park. They were going to get specials, and they got the first COVID special. But then all of a sudden, out of completely nowhere, Paramount Plus all of a sudden gets the exclusive rights to South Park specials. So it makes me wonder, are Parker and Stone voicing their frustrations with what happened with them? Honestly, who knows? But the streaming wars is hysterical, features the great man bear pig, who is an allegory for climate change, which is perfect, and Cartman gets breast implants. And it's just fucking funny. Elvis is a pretty standard paint-by-numbers biopic, but Austin Butler, who plays Elvis, is absolutely fantastic. He shines as Elvis Presley. He's absolutely outstanding in the role. And Tom Hanks, he's Tom Hanks. When isn't Tom Hanks great? Even though it's an overall standard paint-by-numbers rock and roll biopic, it's still a good movie. So the new Father of the Bride is really nothing different from the other Father of the Brides. It's just two different cultures. In this case, Cuba and Mexico. It is very well acted, especially from Andy Garcia, who plays the title character, the Father of the Bride. But the movie itself is overall pretty humorless compared to other Father of the Brides. But it is charming. But it's, I don't know, it's like a middle-of-the-road movie. You're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. So a dude is struck by lightning, and we're told that he was chosen by God to help the world because God and heaven and hell are currently at war, and like hell is winning, I guess. Ben Falcone is actually fantastic as a lovable, awkward loser. He's so good at it. It's kind of mind-blowing. Melissa McCarthy is Melissa McCarthy. She doesn't really do anything out of the norm here. It's her usual brand of comedy. But Leslie Bibb absolutely shines as Satan because she just plays a total bitch so well. The show is actually pretty funny, but it's just, the concept of it is really, really stupid. So Man vs. Beast stars the legendary Rowan Atkinson, and if for some reason you don't know that name, he's Mr. Bean. And this entire show is just him literally versus a bee, trying to kill a bee or get it out of the house that he's sitting for. And it's absolutely hysterical. The premise, honestly, is kind of dumb. But Atkinson is so goddamn good that it's funny as hell. Atkinson is still absolutely one of the best comedians in the business. And the show showcases that with, the stereotypical dry British humor, but also physical comedy. And honestly, the best part about this is that, even though it's a comedy, they're not 20-minute episodes, they're not 30-minute episodes. They range from like 10 to 12 minutes long each episode. So you can blow through this show real quick. I went into Marcel not really expecting much because it's about a little shell who goes on an adventure looking for his parents. Based off of a 3-minute short, Hollywood turned it into a 90-minute feature. So it's like, why? But the movie is heartwarming. It's funny. Jenny Slate as the voice of Marcel, she is fantastic. Rosa Salazar is fantastic. It's just a great cast. I highly recommend this movie. It's just fantastic. So there's this fancy prison where inmates have livable conditions, gourmet food, but as long as they acknowledge being guinea pigs to mood-altering chemicals. Now, I guess this is based off of a book. Never read the book. But, it has an absolutely superb cast of Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller, Junie Smollett, and they're all great in it, but I feel like the story itself is kind of bland, and even though the 3 main leads did very well, and they did their character, especially Chris Hemsworth, he was fantastic, it doesn't really make up for such a story. Now, The Staircase tells the story of Michael Peterson and how he may or may not have murdered his wife, Kathleen Peterson. The series itself is based on the documentary, also called The Staircase, that followed Peterson around during the trial. Now, of course, like any drama based off of a true story, it takes a hell of a lot of liberties with the story itself. But I do give the show credit for showing multiple sides. It showed Peterson's story of the events, how Kathleen fell down the stairs, hit her head, cracked her head open, ultimately bled to death. It showed the prosecution's version of the story, how he beat her to death. It showed another version where she did trip and fall down the stairs, but Peterson ultimately choked her to death and bashed her head up against the wall, and it showed the ridiculous owl theory. Overall, it is very well acted. Colin Firth is great as Michael Peterson. Toni Collette is Kathleen. She is fantastic. Sophie Turner is also in it, who is best known, obviously, from Game of Thrones. We won't speak of X-Men Dark Phoenix. And overall, even though it takes a lot of liberties with whatever the truth may be, it's an overall kind of compelling series. It's weird seeing Kevin Hart in an action movie, not opposite The Rock, but him and Woody Harrelson, they work off of each other very well. The Man from Toronto has great action. It's hysterical. I mean, it's overall a pretty standard action comedy. Nothing too special about it, but it's a fun movie, so I do recommend it. Did you enjoy the review? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get notified when more reviews go live. Feel free to leave a comment to discuss your thoughts on the movie or show, and I will see you next time.